Recording in progress.
All right, guys. Today is the day when Zuo is gonna come at us with all his power. Let me get Zuo in to panelists. Today's gonna be an amazing stream, guys, because we're gonna be discussing Zuo's case, which I think is amazing. An amazing example of getting the green card approval. And I see Zuo is coming up on the stream. Let me unmute you, Zuo. So there you go.
Yeah.
Okay. You turned off the camera, Zuo.
Yeah, I'm just gonna take out my background as well and then join you back.
Sure.
Um,
Take your time.
all right.
Thank you for
thank
you for finding the time, Zuo, to get on the stream. And it's our third time on the Zoom talking about your case, and I think it's amazing because we could show the progress of what was going on with your case, right? Because the first time when we talked with you, you were working on your O1 case. Then the second time you had approval of your O1 case, and now is the third time when you have approval for your EB-1A, the green card. And I think it's what could be the best proof that it's possible, right? I mean, that's the progression of that what we have done and the all the things that we've done in the past. I think this is just amazing. So thank you for finding the time to discuss this, to talk about your case, because your case is very interesting. It's kind of a study case for everyone. Guys, whoever is present today, you can ask the questions. There's a Q&A bubble on the bottom of the Zoom, so you could drop your questions in there, and I encourage you to drop the questions because there's only a handful of people watching the stream right now live, and thousands of people will watch it afterwards, and they will not be able to ask the question online, right? So those questions are very important. If you have something to ask Bruno, myself, do not hesitate. Do it. This is the only one lifetime opportunity to do this. Let's get that done. And also, who going to be watching us offline after we post this video in a couple of weeks, you guys get ready to know all this information and get ready to get a free evaluation of your case. That's how Bruno started his case. He filled out the questionnaire, and that's what was the first step, and the last step is the green card approval sometime after that. So, Zuo, let's pretend we did not discuss your cases before, right? So because some people miss that and they don't know what's going on. And of course, I encourage to watch everything. It's like a story, like this story. And in Africa, you guys love those stories, right? Like starting things from the past and developing. So this is really good. So tell us a little bit about yourself, like where you're from, what was your family situation, what kind of education you got, and how you became the businessman in the industry of IT and innovation.
Yeah, that would be a long one starting out, but I'll try my
best. Make it short and sweet.
Absolutely. So I come from a small village in the northwest region of Cameroon. Cameroon, as most people will know, is a bilingual country with 80% of the population speaking French and just 20% of the population speaking English. And I'm from a very, very small community in the English side of the country. And
it's like northwest and northeast part of Cameroon are English speaking.
Yeah, that's the northwest and the southwest, but I'm actually from the northwest region of the country, and very small community. Like I said, my dad was a security guard in one of the biggest companies in Cameroon. It's known as the Cameroon Development Corporation. It's an agro company, and my dad was a security guard there. And so education was small. I had to go to school. School was always very far from home, but my dad did his best to make sure that I received the education that I need. But he always saw me as a pilot. So in his mind, he was training a pilot. And I couldn't see myself being a pilot because I was so scared of height. So I'm like, I can't be a pilot. I cannot be a pilot. So this continued on and on until I got to the university. When I was in the university, I started taking interest in computer science. I think that started when I was in secondary school, but when I got to university, it grew, and I wanted to teach myself how to write programs, how to write code. And even though I was doing geography, as there's a geography in school, I tried my best to implement technology into it. So I selected geographic information systems as my specialty in the university, and my dad was furious. You can imagine.
Oh God, that's
Yes,
crazy.
his pilot. You know, this is the pilot he wanted. This guy is becoming something else, and he didn't like that. Um, but then I started my first company just after graduation. It was known as Mobile Information Network, and it was a simple idea. All I had to do was take phone numbers from businesses and people, and then allow those phone numbers. I built a program that was able to use SMS at the time. It was really innovative at that time. So I was able to build an SMS system that sends out information like weather forecast, um, deal of the day, new restaurants popping up. And that pretty much was my first idea of what a business failure looks like. Because that business, even though I invested a lot of my time and my money into it, that business failed. And that was my starting point into learning what it really means to be a businessman. I thought entrepreneurship was something to get into and it was all glorious, but it wasn't in my case,
it's
especially
actually
in this
it's
case.
actually good to start with failures because you build your success on on failures ultimately.
Absolutely, absolutely. So yeah, background at home as well, I had it was really a nuclear family. I had my dad, my mom, and my elder sister, who unfortunately is late. She died in 2019. So yeah, that's a little bit about my off start to entrepreneurship. Started this small thing of my own, failed, and I had to think about it. And so 2017, I think in 2015, I had started building a cybersecurity company. And I remember vividly, people were telling me, what is this? What are you doing? No, nobody understood, especially in Cameroon, nobody understood why I'm into a very innovative and a futuristic field like that. But I tested, and the rest is history, like they say. Yeah.
Good, good. So, yeah, and
Yeah.
I kind of love to hear this kind of stories because we all know that that entrepreneurship investment is like an iceberg, right? Like everybody sees on the tip of it, but below it, it's like all these things that happened before. Nobody knows what's the background. So it's really really encouraging. So,
Right.
so how why did you decide where the idea came from to come to the US and continue developing here?
Yeah, so take it from me being a very strong Africanist. I love Africa, love Africa so much. And so in my mind, I was like, I could do what I'm doing in Africa, anywhere in Africa. We're talking about 54 African states. And so I moved out of Cameroon and I settled in South Africa, in Johannesburg, South Africa. And business was blooming, business was moving very well. Then along the line, I came in contact with this wonderful man called Douglas Eze. He's actually Nigerian, but he's been living in the United States for more than 25 years. So he was born in Nigeria, but he's an American citizen right now. So he came in contact with me and I explained to him one of my few technologies that I've created. And what I created at the time was a fleet management solution that relies heavily on satellite-based communication instead of GSM communication. So what that means is you can locate, immobilize, and basically track your vehicle or your assets anywhere in the world without it for internet connectivity.
Mhm.
And so when he saw that, he was really impressed. He was like, wow, you have an amazing product. I'd like to partner with you and let's start an American team, an American business, and let's see how that can progress. And I was like, yeah, do that. I'm a businessman. I'm looking for opportunities everywhere. So we partnered and created a wonderful company called Camway. And Kamwe is actually a Swahili word. Swahili is one of the languages, one of the beautiful languages spoken in Africa, and it means never again. So we came back to the United States, and we did all the the lawyers, the legal stuff, did all of that on Zoom. We started everything, make sure the company was ready to go. And then at one point, we started having technological problems. The technological problem was I had to reprogram certain satellites to cover the United States. Because at this time, I had done all my work in Africa. And so nobody was having a problem in Africa with the technology. But the new plans that we're having in the United States, we start facing a lot of problems. Sometimes the system will be down. Sometimes it won't work well. And I was talking with Douglas, and Douglas was like, you know what? I think you should go ask for a visa and come over to the United States, and let's have the tech team here fix everything up. Let's make sure people are ready to use this thing. Nobody complains, because it's a whole different ball game, whole different market. And I was like, yeah, sure, we can do that. So I had applied for a US visa back in my country, in Cameroon.
For the tourist
visa,
B1, B2.
Yes, for B1, B2. And I had applied for that, and I let that go because of the COVID-19 situation, the pandemic that happened. So while we're having this discussion, a few weeks later, I got an email from my consulate in Cameroon, and they're like, if you're still interested in this visa, we have reopened for interview. So I went back home and did the interview. Everything was smooth, fine. It took 3 minutes, actually, for me to grant a visa, a B1, B2, alongside my wife. And they were like, what are you going to do in the United States? I explained everything, and I was on with everything. Everything was plain. They could see that it was true, and I had very strong ties back at home. They're like, okay, fine. We're going to give you a 1-year B1, B2 visa. And 1 month after that, I flew back to South Africa. 1 month after that, I decided to fly to the United States. It was a 16-hour flight. It's the longest flight I've had in my life. And I landed in the United States. Immediately I landed, I loved the country. I saw the opportunities. I saw how things were different. I saw that people didn't judge me based on what kind of English I speak, what kind of language I speak. Yeah, there's some people that are going to judge you based on your color, but those are very few people. So I was like, I can do business here, And my business partner was like, yeah, sure. So I started thinking, how can I stay legally in the United States and do business? And that when I went online, looking all kinds of areas, people, recommendations. And fortunately, there was this one video I was watching, and I watched this guy from Russia. And his English, I'm like, this guy speaks English that I can understand, So, and that was you, Shema. I was like, okay, let me listen to this guy. So I watched the video, and what I liked about the video, we're saying one thing that caught my attention was this: you have a free evaluation of your case. All you have to do is fill the form, and I'll let you know if it's a yes or if it's a no, if you stand the chances. And I was like, okay, I'm going to give this guy a try. So I filled the form, and to my surprise, it didn't take 2 days. I think maximum was like 27 hours. To my surprise, you did write back an email, and the email that came, what actually touched my heart was that this email was personally from you. It wasn't some representative somewhere. I saw the personal touch you have put into my questionnaire, and you were like, okay, Bruno, I think I can have a call with you. You have a good potential. Let's jump on a call. And you know what happened next? We had this wonderful, amazing Zoom call, the first time ever. Yeah. And then after that, after that, it was like, okay, I think we can move forward. Yeah. So that's how I got to the United States. That's the story.
Okay. Keep talking. If we didn't have the time restraint, I would be like, just continue. No questions here. Okay, good. So
yeah.
So actually, from that point, and I believe when was it, like 2022 or beginning 2023, maybe something something like that, like year and a half ago probably. So a lot of things happen. So let's my suggestion is as follows. Let's jump on your EB-1A case, talk about the structure, the criteria, and then we'll go back in time and continue with procedurally what happened procedurally before that, because I think this is very interesting also. In your petition, and again, we're going to withhold the procedural stuff, so we're going to be talking about the last one, because this is the juice. This is the juice I want to leave till the end. We filed you with so let me count the 8 criteria, which is the max. You can't go beyond 8 criteria for business, unless you go crazy about it. So 8 criteria, and I'm not going to list them because we're going to talk about all of them. So let's start with your contribution in the industry, which I put on the first spot because I think this is the best and the strongest criterion in the case. So, and we have a few of them. We have the zoomed application based on SMS of things, SOT technology. We have Zano paper. We have AI SCON conference. So those are different contributions. So tell us, in short, what's the innovative and significance of those contributions in the field?
I'm going to do SOT, SMS of things. SOT, I created SOT way back in the days. I think the date patented SOT was in 2018, and SOT basically stands for SMS of things. It's the open of Internet of Things. So the idea behind SOT came out when the government of my country, the French dominant government, decided to disconnect Internet for the English-speaking side of the country, affecting the life of more than 4 million people. And they did this as a way to curb the ongoing riot and protest that was happening in the country, because the English side wanted to secede and create their own independent country. And the government didn't want that. So they decided to disconnect Internet to say, okay, if we take out Internet, we won't be able to organize themselves that much. And this, even though I could understand the political side of it, it affected a lot of businesses. We're talking about banking systems going down. We're talking about security systems going down. Everything's down. I came up with this idea that if I could use SMS to exchange information between an Internet off-grid section of the country and this part of the country that's online, that could solve problems. What I did was I took my car and I drove to the French side of the country, and then I programmed a mobile phone in the French side of the country, and I connected that mobile to a computer. So when that mobile phone receives a text message, it transfers that text message automatically to the computer. And then the text messages were programmed in a way that it recognizes key phrases in your text. So for example, if I want to check my account balance while I'm in the English section of the country, I can type the hash balance hash, and then I send it to a specific phone number in the French side of the country, and it would then upload that text to the computer. The computer will then go and try to check my balance, my account balance. If the web application of the bank says username, it's going to reply to the computer. The computer will send that to the phone, which is connected to the internet. The phone will send it over by SMS to the side that is not connected to the internet. And then the person will recognize that the bank wants its account number or something. If you reply with the right account number, that phone was going to put it back to the computer. And just like that, people were able to have access to internet-based resources without being on the internet. It's never happened before. It was really innovative. I started applying this to fleet management, applied it to home security. So you could be in the English side and you want to open your door, for example, using IoT. You send an SMS and it goes to the French side of the country. It goes on that computer. The computer carries out the reactions, send it back to the phone sends back to you. And all of this happened in a fraction of a second. So it was really, really, really good. And this has not been in the industry before. This doesn't exist.
So basically,
And when this came out,
it was innovative, and it was significant to the industry because you basically connected the one part of the country to a different one, for which I think you should have been arrested from the stand of view of French part, because look, like you're doing things over there, okay? But from the point of view of technology and everything, I think this was a great idea. Okay, so I think it's clear what exactly you've done and the basis for this. So,
right.
So let's move to the Zano paper. Can you please explain what that is and what it has to do with?
So Zano paper basically was my first work with nanotechnology. I've always loved to look at nanotechnology in its in-depth part of it. I understand the implications of nanotechnology in health and all and the other, like space travel and all this stuff. But I wanted to try to use nanotechnology for protection, for security reasons. And my first try of it was the infusion of nanotechnology with a regular A4 paper. What that produced was what I call a Zano paper, which stands for ZOICS Nano Paper. That's what it stands for. So Zano paper basically allows you to write on a document or print on a document and have it impossible for that document to be photocopied or replicated. So you cannot blur out anything because the nanoparticles were programmed to react to certain solvents. So if I try to blur out with an ink, it's gonna change the whole color of the paper or of that area.
How did you come up with this? I mean, like, how? Just tell me, how did you come up? I don't understand, like, where this idea is coming from. Because I understand the application of it, but how in the world that come in your head? Like, what happened then?
So that's the good thing about being an entrepreneur. Being an entrepreneur basically means looking at the world's problem and trying to solve it for the world. That you're basically a servant. So that's how I see that entrepreneurship. So what happened was when I looked at nanoparticles, I realized that there was something called a nano paint. Now, nano paint is not my product. It's a product of someone else. But the nano paint allow you to specifically lay over on a surface, on a particular area of a surface, in a way that is programmable. So basically what that means is if I lay it over a piece of paper and I just let it be, it could basically just be white. It reflects nothing. But if I start including heat reactive solvents to that, that means if I touch that paper in certain areas, which of course that paper was programmed like this. So if I hold that paper in body temperature only, it's able to change specific colors of the specific areas of that paper. This also helps in identifying fraudulent documents, which is around the world. Okay, fraudulent documents are around the world, fraudulent checks everywhere. And so this is the idea of Zano paper to fight against fraud and counterfeiting and fake documentations. This is what I was fighting with that. Now, programming nanoparticles is really not something that is easy, and it's really not easy to just explain. You have to really go and read and do your research. It's a very, very, very complicated topic, a very difficult topic. But that drives me, though. That's what drives me. When things are difficult, when they're complicated, I come to life. I like things that are really, really difficult. So when I created nano paper, I did actually file for the patent already. I'm waiting for the patent approval. So Zano paper is right now patent pending. And also one of the things that Zano paper have brought to me is the United Nations United Passport. Basically, sorry, the African Union passport, not the United Nations, sorry. The African Union passport is a passport that promises to give all Africans, no matter where they are coming from, a unified passport. And the security measures for this passport was copied, or I actually am supporting that was copied from Zano paper. So you can see how
and I think it's a really cool fact. Yeah, not only the application of that in general in theory, but the actual application. Because that's what proves the significance of this thing. So this is really, really impressive. So For the purpose of saving the time, let's skip the conference because I think it's important, right? But we have a lot of things to cover. So the second criterion is the academic articles, and I'm going to cover it because it's kind of clear, right? So we had 3 articles, the 3 academic articles. One of them was published in academia.edu, which is a good peer review medium of publication. The second one was Global Journal of Management and Business Research. There was another scientific article. And also there is a book, Drums to Smartphones, and there's a longer name of it. So basically all 3 of those we claimed as publications, 2 of them exactly scientific academic publication, which is really good, shows that we have the academic part behind our petition, and one is the book, which I think is also amazing to have a book in a petition. That always helps with it. The third criterion was the critical and leading role in a company with a distinguished reputation. We had 2 companies in your case. Number one was, if I pronounce it right, ZOIX Company Ltd. And ComWe Ltd. Tell in short, what are those companies about and how did you build those companies?
All right, briefly, ZOIX is an offensive information security company. I created ZOIX in 2017 and it's been running ever since. ZOIX is available in 14 African countries with offices in Cameroon, and offices in Côte d'Ivoire, Abidjan, and offices in Hyde Park, Johannesburg, South Africa. ComWe is registered in 3 countries, the United States of America, Mauritius Island, very close to South Africa, and Nigeria, where is registered. In ZOIX, I'm the founder and the CEO. In ComWe, I'm the co-founder and the CTO of ComWe.
In short, what are those companies involved in? What's the nature of the business? A little bit expand on it so it's clear.
Yeah, so ZOIX is a cybersecurity company specializing in offensive information security. So basically what ZOIX does is ZOIX have the license to go out and test vulnerability of specific companies by giving prior information though. So we don't just go out and do it haphazardly. We have to write and get permission. And we have the vulnerability analysis, the vulnerability report. And if the company finds that the vulnerability we find is really dangerous to their health, the company health, they can actually hire ZOIX to go out and defend that. So that's what ZOIX is involved in. ComWe is an advanced fleet management and SOT company. So ComWe uses microtechnology SOT to secure fleet and assets around the world, including cars, shipping, logistics, delivery, and that's what ComWe is involved in. ComWe actually we have right now about 6,000 vehicles that we are protecting around the world in countries like South Africa, Nigeria, Ghana, Cameroon, United States, and recently we just expanded to Canada.
Oh, that's pretty cool. Congratulations on that. Things are skyrocketing. It's really, really good. I'm always happy when my clients succeed. You know, it makes me double happy. And, this is really good. Okay, so let's move on to the next one, which I think is also one of the strongest because you have all the criteria pretty strong. I mean, it's kind of they all could be on the first spot. Is the press about you and your projects. And here I think we have a very successful track record. We had an interview in CNN. We have a report in major media BBC. We also had a report in Canal Plus. I believe it's French, right? The French TV station. European, at least European. And also we had a couple of different articles. One is in Quartz, Africa, also major media. Another article in Cameroon News Agency. Another article in Professional Media Business Insider Africa. and another one professional Afro hustler. So basically, I guess CNN and BBC and Canal, or whatever they pronounce in French, Canal Plus is something that I think
Canal Plus.
yeah, Canal Plus is something that's really played a huge role in the petition. And I guess we'll get back to that a little bit later when we'll talk about how things happen in a time frame of the filing. So I guess there's nothing to discuss here. We had a bunch of major world press about your project, which is really impressive. Let's move on to number 5, which is the awards, and we have a bunch. So give me the 2 that you're the most proud of. Which are 2 the awards that you think are the best?
So 2 of my best awards will be, without question, the African Achievers Award and the International Trade Council Award. The reason why the African Achievers Award is one of my best awards is because, first and foremost, the only Cameroonian to be recognized by this award so far for the 12 years of existence. I'm the only Cameroonian who have gotten that award. It's an award that recognizes Africans and people of African descent, no matter where they are, with their major achievements in the world. So in 2022, I received this award, and it was in the category of Rising Tech Icon of Africa.
Mm-hmm.
So it had to do with my work with technology in the continent. And out of 54 states, 1.3 billion people, I was selected as one of the brightest in tech in Africa. And that was way just blew my mind. As if that was not enough, I was invited to Estonia, the International Trade Council, where I received the award for the best software development company, as also in my name, and also for my company Zoix, and that was crazily beautiful. And just to prove how that was so interesting, I thereafter became a member of the International Trade Council, and it's been a blessing after that. So yeah, those are the 2 important awards that I have. Another one is the Golden Lion Award. I won't forget that, because that's the first ever award I got from the president of my country, His Excellency Paul Biya. In 2016, he awarded me the best in tech, the best in entrepreneurship, the best in youth development through the Ministry of Scientific Research and Innovation. Was able to immobilize a car in front of the minister without using anything except a simple SS. The minister couldn't believe herself. Like, she was mind blown. Yeah, she was mind blown, because it was an award you have to present, you have to show. You don't just write papers and talk. You have to show that this is what I could do. So in that award, I brought a car, and I told her I would stop this car using SMS, and she was like, "It's not possible. It's not possible. That can never happen." She had a driver go in, start the car. Everything was working fine. I sent a simple message in front of her with 4-letter words, STOP, and the car stopped and couldn't start again. It wouldn't start. And I got that award from the president. It came with a cash prize as well. And then after that, I got a very good relationship with the palace, as it's known as French, Palace Presidential. That's a presidential palace. I got a very good relationship. I could go and give advice and stuff like that. And that opened a whole lot of opportunities for me as well.
Well, absolutely. So not only achieving and getting those awards is good for the personal growth and build an immigration petition, but also the networking and the future opportunities. I think it's really amazing. Okay, so let's move on. The number 6 is one of the rarest criteria that we usually see in the petitions, but we had that here, is the membership in the professional associations that require outstanding achievement to become a member. And here we have 2 organizations. The first one is Silicon Mountain, and the second one is Youth Alliance of Leadership and Development in Africa. So let's pick one. Which one is closer to your heart, and tell us how you became a member and what they looked at when making a decision on that.
Well, I think I'll go with Silicon Mountain.
Okay.
Even though that's also very close to my heart, but I'll go with Silicon Mountain just because of difficulty in becoming a member in Silicon Mountain. So Silicon Mountain, it's the community of entrepreneurs in and around the Fako area or the foot of the Mount Fako. That's why it's called the mountain, not this valley.
Right.
So it's just right. It's been covered by a lot of media like CNN, BBC have covered this particular community. It's very, very difficult to become a member in this community. And this is because of the extreme view when it comes to recommending members. So you can't even apply to become a member. The existing member have to look at what you're doing. You have to catch your attention, not by any form of application. They just have to know you are from the community, you live in and around this area, and this is what you're doing. Then they sit within that community and they're like, okay, is this someone to join this? Like, what are some of the things that he have is going to contribute, add to this community? What makes him special? Is it everybody out there? And so when I received the call from the existing members, specifically one of the guys that I look up, he's my own Elon Musk. So his name is Chochi Nanje. And I received a call from him and he was like, hey, Bruno, we want to talk to you, trying to make you join the Commonwealth community as an executive. I was like, what? Wait a minute. Are you serious? He was like, yeah, sure. They had a meeting with me and they will ask all of these questions. They'll look at your track record. And then even that doesn't make you a member at all. After that, they have to go back and deliberate and say, like, how did he do during the interview? You know, let's go do some research about this guy. So it was a very, very difficult procedure to become a member in the Silicon Mountain community, and it still is right to this date.
Right, and that's exactly what we want, right? So to show that they pretty much accept only people with a really good track record of success. And in your case, I mean, offering an executive position from right off the bat. I mean, like, what's going on here? We must have some recognition in the field, I think. So yeah, it was really good. So number 7 is the evidence of you being a judge or judging the work of other professionals. And here we had the Commonwealth Business Forum. All right, so tell us a little bit about this forum and how you became a judge there and what exactly you judged.
So in 2018, I had the first opportunity to be invited to the Commonwealth Business Forum in London, and I was invited as an attendee. I took the opportunity, flew to London, attended the whole conference. It was blowing. It was really innovative. I met like-minded people. And when I came back home, I actually wrote the investment promotion agency. The investment promotion agency in Cameroon is responsible for this kind of invitations, this kind of forums, this kind of conferences. Basically, I told them, hey, I loved what I did. You sent me out, because they actually recommended me for invitation. I'm like, I went to London, I learned a lot, my business is growing. Please, if this opportunity ever come up again, I will be willing to, hop on board. And like I said, I flew to South Africa. And in 2022, the Commonwealth Business Forum was held in Rwanda, Kigali. And I got an invitation to come over. And this time, not just as an attendee, but also as a speaker. So I had to speak on behalf of investing in Cameroon and also as a judge. And judge the work of others, young Cameroonians who have been also invited. They had to present their work. You have to judge their work. It's really a very exciting thing to do. When you see people think that you've made it enough in life that you can impact others. It's mind-blowing, so wonderful. And at this wonderful opportunity, it was really, really great. I met some very, very great Cameroonians, very, very innovative projects that they have as well. And that was really, really interesting to me.
Yeah.
So, I did that. I'm looking forward to the next one.
And the networking, right? So all these beautiful things. That happens when those events happen. And just between you and me, I think they should start preparing like some kind of a statue of you in the English part of the Cameroon, so people could look up to people who really achieve big things for the country. Like great Cameroonians, LA or something like this. So that definitely should happen. All right, so the last one is the high salary. I mean, we kind of this kind of like intimate question. So we claim that criterion, and of course Bruno is a businessman, makes really good money, and that's what we were proving to the immigration officer. Of course, we had a couple of good expert opinion letters in the case. That was basically the what the EB-1 case was about. So now let's go back in time and revive what was happening before that. First of all, we filed you for O1A, got it approved, and I believe it was your own company, right? You own that company, so that was your employer, and we did that back then, and I remember it pretty well because you wanted to start working as soon as possible. So that kind of was rather a necessity than something that we strategically planned, because we planned to file EB-1A case. We did file for O1, it was approved, no problem. And then we work a couple of more months to strengthen your EB-1 case, make it look nice, and we filed it. And I believe it happened like in December, something around those lines. And and then we got just like, and your case, so for you to understand, Zoo, and for everybody else, because we don't file weak cases. There is no such a thing in my company. There is no weak no weak cases. They all strong, but strong cases, they have the spectrum also from less strong or the strongest. So I think your case was like much above the average, closer to the one of the strongest cases, because you had not only we need to prove national recognition, you absolutely had international recognition, and from different continents, right, from different parts of the world. So in my eyes, I think it was a slam dunk case, like basically filing it, getting it approved, just moving on, everybody's happy. But we got this crazy RFE, request for evidence. I mean, I've never seen anything like that. I don't know what was going on with the officer, and something was going, but he didn't like anything about our petition. Pretty much, I can't even remember if he accepted anything, but I mean, he didn't like everything. So we looked at it and was like, oh my God, what's going on here? Like that's the case to be approved without even looking. Strategically, we made a decision, and I recommended it to you. And I know it was kind of emotional because, like, hey, what's going on here? Maybe Stanislav messed up or something. I kind of recommended just to withdraw without answering to RFE and just basically refile the case, so another officer could take a look and see what was happening. And that's what we did. We withdrew, and we filed the second case, and voila.
I didn't even check, you know, just to put out something like, you know, when we filed the first time, I was checking that every day, you know, every day I wake up, I'm like, okay, I gotta check my email. I have to go to USCIS website and check on this. The second time, after the RFE, the second time I was like, okay, you know what? I trust this guy. He says refile, I'm going to file. I'm not going to check anything. And I woke up this morning, I was like, you know what? That was like 4 days after I got the email that says that we've received your case and we're now actively reviewing it. I'm like, okay, fine, no problem. I'm taking a flight. I'm going somewhere else. I don't care about this. In my mind, if I have an approval or an RFE, the law firm Stanislav is going to call me. And all of a sudden, I got this email that says you've been approved. I couldn't believe it. I'll be honest with you. I didn't believe it was a mistake. I thought someone was playing a prank on me.
Right.
So that was how nice it was, and it was very interesting. You know, that particular day, I'll never forget that day. Changed my life forever.
Yes, absolutely, yes. And then I called you, and I was also excited. I mean, there was a little bitter taste to this first filing, which I think was completely like unnecessary for anyone in this world. And but again, no, that kind of shows to the world how inconsistent USCIS is with their decisions, because I mean, sometimes, although I say that we don't file weak cases, but some of them less strong. And I'd be like, okay, maybe RFE, and bam, it's approved. So, okay. But when you file a really strong case, you don't expect that. So, but okay, the ultimate result is the approval, and that's exactly what we are all working for. Now, guys, whoever is watching us live and who's watching us offline, remember what I said and what Bruno said, that the first thing for you to do is to get a free evaluation of your case for me to say if you have a potential and if you have to move with the case, come to the complex immigration planning and things like that, or you have to maybe work a little bit more on your petition. And the links are going to be below the YouTube video. And for those of you who are watching live, you guys can get those links on my Instagram. Okay, so this is your first step. Everybody is going through this, including Bruno and all our other clients. Now, Bruno, let's switch to the last part of our conversation, and we're going to be finishing up pretty shortly. First, what was the hardest part for you to work on the documents when you were working on O1 visa or EB-1A visa?
The hardest part, I think, will be on the O1A visa. Because one thing with the team, I'll tell you, Stanislav, is the fact that the team is very, 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 very keen to detail. I love that about the team. They're very keen to detail. If you don't dot your I's and cross your T's, I bet you they will know. I bet you they will know that this I is not dotted and this T is not crossed. That is why when you file my case, I really don't bother too much, because I know there's nothing else I can do. So this is the best way I can describe the team. The team will squeeze every detail out of you. Every single drop will be squeezed out. So when it's filed, you know, right, and there's nothing else. Even if I had something to do, it's beyond my power. I like that about the team. So when it was O1A, I had to do a lot of documentation. They asked a lot of documents. My payslip that I was throwing away, you know, basically not looking at them, storing them somewhere that was asked. I had to go all the way back 2018, start looking for those documents and bring them back. Documents that were uploaded to the Google Drive. We had a Google Drive together. The team, I think it was 2 or 3 different teams that will go through particular document. One team will go through it, see if it meets the criteria. The other team will come and check if the document is valid and real. That was really, really wonderful working with a team. When it came to the EB-1A, we've already done a lot of work before. That lot of work had been done at the O1A level, so it was pretty much easy this time. It was not that really that difficult.
You were mentally prepared what to expect from the work.
Exactly. And I think at this time I've already understood. This time I've already understood what it looks like. You know, I understood that there's a team that was look at it, team number A, team number B, team number C. So I already understood all of that. So it was really, really easy when it came to that. So really, really, really difficult also. As anybody who is trying to take this, it's not going to be a walk in the park. I can tell you this. It's not going to be a walk in the park where you just come and you write A or B or C. No. I remember also when it was time for the recommendation letters, I had to go out to everybody. I had to talk to people. I had to write, to make calls, because the team wants these to be as it should come from those people. It's not just writing those things and then uploading them yourself. No, it should come from those people. They have to sign, have to put their email addresses. Everything was double and triple check. And I love that actually about your team. So basically what I'm saying is, even if you pay your fees, it's not going to be easy getting the document, get ready for that. But it's going to be a reward experience, actually. Yeah, because
It's good that you're saying that because you
yeah,
know again it's like the tip of the iceberg is the approval, like, oh, everybody's
yeah,
happy, congratulations. But what was behind it, like, nobody knows, and it's a lot of work. And
yeah,
and you know that's another explanation why people say, oh, why U.S. attorneys charge so much money. Well, because there's so much work.
yeah,
It's good. So now let's get to the last part of the today's interview. And by the way, before
yeah.
that, I wanted to say my heartwarming greetings to your beautiful wife Patty. And I think she was also not the last thing in this case, and with a lot of psychological help and all kind of help, and very very patient. And so it's
Yeah,
my big greetings to her. So
sure.
the last thing is, what could you recommend or advise to people who are fresh to this process and who are intending to start the process of O1, EB-1A, or any other immigration petitions? What would be your best advice to those people to prepare them for this whole thing?
My first advice, probably the best advice, is this: you are not an immigration lawyer, so don't try to do it yourself. Okay, don't try to do it yourself. Fill the form, get a free evaluation, which would tell you if you even stand a chance. There's a Chinese proverb, I think not a Chinese one, an English one, that says, "Before war is before arm." You are basically trying to go to war. This is what this means. And you want all the best advice, you want the best people rooting for you. And the best way to start this process is to get that evaluation. For someone to tell you, hey, you think you are great, but you're not so great. Or for someone to tell you, you think you are not great, but you're this gem.
Right.
Because in my case, when I came to you, Stanislav, I didn't believe that I've met any of the criteria. I didn't believe that.
Wow.
And when we started
Wow.
talking, you were like,
okay.
I didn't believe it. When we started talking, you were like, do you meet this? You meet this? You meet this? You just need to prove this to the USCIS. And I couldn't believe it because I was like, maybe I'm just this guy from West Cameroon. Look at the map. It's just down there, you know. I'm just guys from this small place of the world. But you proved to me you guys did a wonderful job. So my advice is fill that form. It's not going to cost you anything. You're basically on TikTok at this. You're going to spend a lot of time on TikTok. This form took me approximately 3 to about 7 minutes for me to fill in this form. If you fill that form, you're going to know if you stand a chance. And the second advice I will give is you want to make sure you are ready. Okay, what do I mean by that? If let's say give us this document, make sure you are ready to do that. It gets a little bit difficult because you want to, maybe you're engaged in some other activity and they are asking you for this document and you're like, well, let me watch this match first. Don't waste any time. I learned that the hard way, Stanislav. I learned the hard way. If they say give this document, go do that document, okay? And then you provide that and let the guys do their job.
Yeah,
So that's my best
because
advice
the document is not going to do itself, you know. So it's,
Absolutely.
yet, I mean,
Absolutely.
maybe you created AI technology when it's going to be get done, but not yet. Another business
Yeah.
idea.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
All right, Zua. You know, I really appreciate you a lot. Not only as my client who entrusted your life in our hands and went this whole process with crazy RFEs and O1 and all this hard and difficult work, but also as a person who I truly believe your presence in the US is going to benefit this country a lot, and not only stemming from your achievements outside of the US, but your future plans and your motivation and your will to bring good to this world. So I really appreciate you from both sides, and you know, I wish you only the best. That I want to see you on TV. I want to see you on CNN, on BBC, because you know I want to see your big project going live on market for stock market and things like that, IPOs. So that's what I want to see. That's because then I feel that, you know, my little contribution in this thing, and it feels amazing. So I wish you all the best to your family, to your beautiful wife, and thank you for your time, and I wish you all the best.
Thank you so much, Stanislav.
Yes.
And my greetings to the team and to all our viewers, guys. Thank you very much.
Absolutely. Take care as well. Bye-bye.
All right.